here's what we're looking at. It's a 3-digit odometer. You can stack it if you want 6, 9, or 12 or more digits. You can also turn it down to 1 or 2 digits. You can change the font. You can customize it however you want. Alright, let's have a look at this 3-digit odometer. Step 1, open the project. Now that you've got it open, you'll notice there are 2 layers, a text font control and a master controller. So if we take that master controller, look at the effect controls panel, let's start out looking at the number displayed effect. So if we go to this first keyframe, and you can move these around as needed, but set that first keyframe to say 62, set the second one to 928, you see we're there. Now if you look here, there's a little problem with the 2. The 2 is already transitioning to the 3. If we want to change that, you can go into the tens transition smoothness, turn that value down just a little bit, and now it's good. And now we will just play through keyframe to keyframe to see that it actually works, which I assure you it does. And there we go, 928. Now those are normal keyframes. You can do whatever you want with them. You can, for example, ease into... There we go. You can ease into one of them, and we're going through a whole lot of numbers here, so the ease won't be super soft, but it does, in fact, ease in. You can add expressions to make that bounce back and forth, or you can do whatever you want with those keyframes. Now, let me just reset this one. Okay, now, if we go back here, we're going to take a look at that transition smoothness property I was talking about a minute ago. Set to 127, go out to 2 seconds, set it to 131. Now we have a nice slow transition going from 127 to 131. You'll notice when it hits the 8, the tens digit starts to transition, and it lands on the 3. Nice and smooth. We can make that less smooth. If we turn it all the way down to 0, then it just snaps into place. That looks pretty weird. We can also turn it up to 1. At 1, it starts moving when the 9 hits. You see right there. If we turn it all the way up to 5, which is as high as it can go, then we'll have to adjust this keyframe to make that actually work. Start at 124. As soon as the 5 hits, the 2 and the tens digit starts to transition to the 3. Great. Now I'm just going to reset that to 2, which I think is a good value for now. You can do the same thing with the hundreds transition smoothness. So if I go from, say, 180 up to, I don't know, to 210, you'll see the hundreds digit transition from a 1 to a 2. Right now it happens about like that. We can turn that down, say to 0.1. It'll happen very late, basically when we go from 99 to 200. And there you see it. You can adjust both of those as needed to make it look good depending on how fast it's moving, what number you're landing on, etc. Now, the next thing we're going to look at here is the number of digits. So right now there's 3. You can also set it to 1. You can set it to 2. It will still move according to that number displayed slider, just as if all of them were displaying, but it will only display however many you tell it to display there. You can also go in and adjust the tracking here on the master controller, which becomes important when we go to adjust the font. So let's say I want it to be Hobo Standard. Whoops, I don't have Hobo on this machine for some reason. Next best thing, I want this to be Comic Sans. Let's go bold. That looks beautiful. Now you can see there's a tracking problem there. Well, you know, I want this font to be a little bigger, so I'm going to go to, nope, not the leading. There we go. Make that 500. Too much. 475. Great, that's exactly how I want it to look. Now I just need to go onto the master controller, adjust the tracking, and yeah, that's looking pretty good. Hit play, you can see it works just the same as it did before, and there you have it. One other thing to point out here, there are a whole bunch of other layers that are shied. You probably don't want to mess with those unless you want to go in and see how this whole thing is built. And the one other thing to pay attention here, you might notice that these numbers are kind of parallaxing off to the left in a weird way. You can adjust the master controller position, and that will move everything along with it. It is a 3D thing, so where it is relative to the camera will affect how it looks. From here, you can pre-comp, you can mask in your pre-comp, you could alpha mat it, you could do whatever you want to make it fit with what you're trying to do with it. So I hope you enjoy it. And if you do build something cool with it, send me a link. I'd love to see it. All my contact info is up on my website, andrewsobey.com. Look forward to seeing what you come up with.